Stop!
All three turned to see the giant alien standing at the top of the stairs.
Dank, Roban, move away from the children,
the alien said with the oddly mechanized voice of its face mask. The two standing figures stepped away from the girl, making sure to stay far away from Yonden's prone body. Aethiawi turned the large knife toward the alien.
Peace, child,
it said, and held its four-fingered hands up, palms out, in a non-aggressive manner.
You must forgive my overly eager friends.
Let us go!
We mean you no harm.
Then let us go!
We will. We will even revive your friend from his slumber.
Aethiawi glanced at Yonden. The alien continued.
We would like you to answer a few questions first, however.
Aethiawi glanced at Yonden again, then back to the alien. Okay, ask. But then you wake him up, and you let us go. She jabbed the knife with menace to punctuate her meaning. Even still, a sense of relief could be felt throughout the room.
Of course,
the huge green alien responded. A brief, awkward silence followed as Aethiawi scanned the small movements of the two strangers in hoods. The alien cleared its throat. Aethiawi looked its way.
My name is...
Static issued from the speaker in its mask.
But this device has no translation for how I am called in my native tongue. Instead, as I am a female of my species, you may address me by the human female name of Phaedra.
It was common for non-Gixan non-humans to give themselves names from the languages of ancient Earth when communicating with others not of their own species. The custom was started by anti-Gixan sympathizers as one of many affronts to the Wedge's conquerors, and using the names of ancient, distant Earth was powerfully symbolic because humankind was the first species to fall to the Gixan Jail. After a few generations, though, the custom became fashionable, and now human names were also commonly given to pets. Okay, Phaedra, Aethiawi offered cautiously. Phaedra resumed.
As I was saying, we have a few questions that we would like you to answer. Afterwards, you will be free to do as you choose.
Okay. The big alien leaned in with what could be interpreted as excitement.
Question number 1. Are you a devotee of any religion? Are you a religious cleric? Or are you a holy leader of any sort?
Huh? That was a strange question. No.
Very good,
Phaedra replied.
Question number 2. Are you psychokinetic in any way?
Psycho what? What is that?
Can you affect the physical world around you with your thoughts alone?
Oh, no. I can't do anything like that. Phaedra's 4 vertically stacked eyes fixed on Aethiawi with a growing intensity.
Question number 3. Do you practice any form of magic?
No magic. Nope. Aethiawi began to relax. The strangeness of the questions, the promise of her and Yonden's release, and the mystery of Phaedra's purpose had piqued her interest.
I see,
Phaedra continued.
Question number 4. Do you have... how do you say it?
One of the two hooded people spoke up. Imaginary. Aethiawi's eyes flicked to the hooded man, then back to Phaedra. She raised an eyebrow. Was this a script they had to memorize or something? Phaedra pressed on.
Question number 4. Do you have an imaginary friend, or do you associate with any pure energy, extra-dimensional, or non-corporeal beings?
Aethiawi paused to give question 4 a little more consideration. I don't think so. I guess they could be hanging around without letting me know about it, though, she added, and relaxed even more as her mind busied itself with trying to figure out what the next question would be, and why the alien was asking them in the first place.
No,
Phaedra said.
We thought not. There are sensors for measuring devices placed all about this room. They are designed to recognize a wide spectrum of energies, processes, and the presence of many non-physical life forms. None of the sensors detected anything more than human about your reactions to the, stimuli provided by my colleagues.
Phaedra shifted her massive weight to her back leg and looked at Ayathiawi with what must be a pleased expression on her long green face.
It is as we suspected,
She said more to herself than to anyone else. Under that intense four-eyed gaze, Ayathiawi felt as if the alien could see right through her, if it tried hard enough. The dark young girl closed her eyes, then shook her head to straighten out her thoughts. She, Ayathiawi reminded herself, Phaedra is a she. Then the girl opened her eyes and waited anxiously for the next question.
We have no further questions for you, young lady.
Oh, Ayathiawi said with more than a little disappointment in her tone. Phaedra went on.
Thank you for your cooperation in this matter. We will revive your friend now. Dank.
One of the hooded figures, Dank, held out her hands deliberately to show the small injector. She moved slowly toward Yandin, telegraphing her intent to wake the young boy. Ayathiawi stepped back with some confusion. What's this all about? She waved the knife around to take in this all with the gesture. She fixed Phaedra with an accusatory stare. I mean, you bumped into me on purpose back at the police station, didn't you? The sharp, taut sound of a single shot of compressed air caught her attention. Ayathiawi looked to see Dank stepping back away from Yandin, resuscitated, groaning, and drooling. Ayathiawi looked back to Phaedra. Phaedra looked at the knife. Somehow, holding it made Ayathiawi feel silly, in light of Phaedra's strange questions and keeping her word about reviving Yandin. The alien smiled with her four eyes.
Yes, our encounter at the police station in New Lodell was orchestrated.
Ayathiawi reached over to place the knife back into the counter she kicked open, and suddenly she remembered hearing the alien's name before. Phaedra. The passenger in the car, where she awoke after falling into Fire Canyon, said something about her. Ayathiawi struggled to put it all together, but her mind failed to connect the dots. Why? Was all she could think to ask.
We wanted to ascertain whether or not you had any assistance during your fall into Fire Canyon, and during your subsequent crossing of the river of lava at its bottom, or, as my colleagues have put it, we wished to determine that you were not cheating the run. I am satisfied that you were not.
Phaedra walked up to the dark young girl and held out a small data pack pulled from a side pocket on her pant leg. Ayathiawi stared at the data pack, saw the simple pastel blue graphic of a two-headed Elegariat printed on its top. The color was delicate, fragile, like an eggshell.
You were just lucky, Miss Go,
Phaedra said. What's this? Ayathiawi asked, looking at the data pack.
This data pack contains the access codes to your winnings from the run at the bottom of Fire Canyon.
Winnings? But what? Phaedra interrupted her.
Please, take your reward.
Ayathiawi received the data pack uncertainly. The big alien backed up a few steps.
We'd like you to join us at the next run. The information for the event is in your data pack. I will be happy to answer any questions you have by sat line on your way there. My line address is also in the data pack, but it will only be active on the day of the run. Do not answer now. The hour is late, and you should take your friend home. You two have school to attend in the morning. Give yourself time to think about our offer. In the meanwhile, go and enjoy your winnings, miracle girl.
Ayathiawi just stood there, not sure of what to say or do. The two remaining hooded figures, Denk and Roban, gathered their fallen comrades and led them after Phaedra down the rickety stairs behind the low wall. Yandin sat up groggily and rubbed his neck. What happened? He asked. On their way to Yandin's oversized scooter, Ayathiawi did her best to explain the craziness in the curio shop, but she was too wound up to make much sense, and Yandin wasn't in the best of states to listen, much less understand anything she was saying. After leading him stumbling through Belendu, Ayathiawi decided to drive, because when they got to his scooter, Yandin couldn't tell the ignition from the gas tank, the handbrake, or the accelerator. Once she got him home, helped him sneak back in, and got him settled in bed, She stowed his scooter, and then borrowed some of his son's to take a hired car to her family's estate. There, she snuck back into her room and, too excited to sleep, she decided to swipe the datapack over her wall screen scanner. While the scanner performed its protective diagnostics on the datapack's information, Aithiawi changed out of her clothes. Long before she eased into the micro-G field of her bed, the wall screen scanner determined that the datapack posed no threat to its operations. Aithiawi ignored the voice command function of her wall screen and turned to her screen's remote control to navigate the datapack's information quietly. She wanted this moment to be hers, and hers alone. Moments after her moment, she floated motionless, stunned. Her winnings were simply not to be believed. A pleasure yacht, a priceless painting by one of Erissus III's centuries-dead masters of light, a safety deposit box full of rare jewels, one-third interest in a large public company, the meaning of which she didn't really understand, and a starship. A starship! With one of those new model PRF drives and everything. She could literally go anywhere she wanted now. Anywhere in the wedge. Almost instantly. She was holding her breath. She blinked her eyes, consciously forced the breath out, forced more breath in, and repeated the action. She could strike out on her own now. Be her own woman. No school, no parents. She'd live free. The only other thing on the datapack was Phaedra's line address, and the information about the next run, like the big alien said. As Aithiawi entered the command to open the run file, she couldn't help but wonder who these people were, who gambled fortunes on games of life and death. Her wall screen flickered. Motion graphics sprung to life. Words zoomed around an animated presentation. The next run was due to take place in less than a week, in orbit. Erissus III would be passing through the tail of a comet, and the run was to be a race, an untethered spacewalk through the lethal shower of rocks and ice and dust falling from that comet. A distance of 500 kilometers between two orbital platforms positioned at the outer edges of the comet's tail. It was absolute madness. Aithiawi couldn't wait to go. She hopped out of bed and began to pack a small overnight bag. She didn't need too much. With the sale of just one of the jewels she won, she could live like a queen for the rest of her life. And even if she somehow managed to spend all her winnings, she could always gain another fortune at another run. She won her first one by accident. How hard could it be to win another one on purpose? She couldn't stop smiling at the possibilities swirling through her mind. Once she was dressed again, she grabbed the datapack from the top of her dresser and deleted its information from her wall screen's memory. Then she snaked the strap of her overnight bag over her head and slipped back out into the night. With a secret stash of suns hidden near the estate's front gate, Aithiawi hired another car and made for Belendu. She'd tell Yandin all about her amazing windfall after he got out of school later in the day.